disclosure, news, life, entertainment, faith. Go Ye International brings you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, because the Almighty, who cannot lie, commands the truth to be told.
Behind me on the video wall, you see what you're about to get into, which is a recording of the Don't Tag Texas rally. Included the march up South Congress to the Capitol grounds and speeches and protests that followed. The whole event was in the neighborhood of about 5 hours plus. But we've condensed it down to roughly 55 minutes. That includes pretty much everything that was there, just edited down for time's sake, as well as giving you the various contact information for the various individuals, the legislatures, the people involved in various organizations regarding the Trans-Texas Corridor, toll roads in general throughout Texas, including the farmers and ranchers who are opposed to the National Animal Identification System, and hopefully as a result of seeing this you will be as well and will voice your concerns. These are pieces to the bigger puzzle of the North American Union, all of which are addressed by the various speakers you're about to see in the following segment. At the end of that, I'll come back and we will get into some more information regarding the same thing that either you missed along the way, perhaps you saw it, or that you can go to and verify for yourself via the internet and all the archived video and documentation that is out there. From a number of sources, predominantly Lou Dobbs on the news network, CNN, because most of the other ones are completely silent or rarely discuss it.
The Trans-Texas Corridor is basically a transportation issue, and there's a lot of different aspects to the Trans-Texas Corridor that go far beyond Texas and go far beyond the United States. But, you know, I grew up in rural Texas where you expected a man to look you in the eye when you talked to you. You expected a man's word to be his bond. And when our governor has made a deal with a Spanish company over major roadways in our state over a 50-year time period, in which this foreign company is going to collect the tolls for 50 years, but more importantly, the governor, the foreign company, and the American company that brokered the deal, Zachary Construction, will not release the full contents of the contract to the general public, something don't smell right. And I know what a skunk smells like in the barn. We got a big skunk in the barn. So obviously there's issues that they don't want us to know, which automatically makes it bad. The worst thing from an agricultural standpoint is this first proposed highway, TTC 35, which is supposed to ease congestion on Interstate 35 from Laredo to the Oklahoma border north of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, is going to take, under its proposed route, or recommended route, going to consume over 100,000 acres of prime farmland. And this, for people who don't understand the different types of soils that we have in the state of Texas, the best growing soil, period, bar none, is blackland soil. 4,000 pages sounds like a lot, but you pick up a box of paper, an entire case of paper is 5,000. So now, you know, the Bible was a lot less pages and a lot more informative. And they used absolutely none of the environmental state as its effects on wildlife, as its effects on the environment itself, as its effects on creeks and streams, as its effect on the total ecosystem. However, this legislation that was adopted by our House and Senate, calls for eminent domain. We've got an agreement. They can take your land to eminent domain by this legislation. There's some water line issues, but there's big water transmission lines within this corridor. The state, when they take that land, they also get the rights to that land. And what bothers me is that Water District C, which is basically the Dallas-Fort Worth area, owns 67% of the state's water rights. And we're going to bed with Mexico on this corridor. What's going to happen to our water through East Texas and Central Texas? Is it going to be sold or bargained to the highest bidder in Water District C or into Mexico? This is the best kept secret of this corridor that they're not talking about whatsoever, and one that really concerns me from an agricultural standpoint.
In 1842, Angelina Eberly was one bold woman with vigilance who became aware of Sam Houston's plan to steal the government archives and move them from the capital of the nation of Texas then, Austin, to the city after his namesake. Angelina, upon seeing this, came to what is now 6th Street and Congress, where a cannon was located, and fired it upon the land office building to stall the plan of a politician who was performing clandestine activities against the will of the people. And stalling the plan she did, as well as arousing the people who were otherwise unaware of what was taking place. We need more men and women like Angelina Eberly to stand in the face of adversity against the political agendas of politicians, regardless of their political persuasion, who are implementing schemes contrary to the will of the people without their knowledge or consent.
Chip in my mother, a chip in my wife, a chip in my babies. Stay out of our life, don't want no shackles. Don't want no shackles on me. I sit down with Big Brother in the good old USA.
Participate in this rally and speak to the people, that we were going to let them come whenever they had time, and we've got one here. The man I'm going to introduce is a representative from Houston who, when the original legislation was passed to create the TTC, tried to stop it then. He's going to work on our behalf in the House to help do something about this, about the Trans-Texas Corridor. He's introduced legislation. I'm not going to talk to you at this time, the Honorable Representative Garnett Coleman.
I want to thank you all for exercising your rights as citizens to tell this state government in particular, the man that's in the office up there, that what he did was wrong. Now, some of you all may think that we're pretty stupid because we didn't read the bill close enough to know that this was in it. And I can tell you, if we had known, no member, every taxpayer in the state of Texas is going to pay for this highway when the bonds are defaulted and those Cintas or whatever their names are go back to Spain with all our money. But we can stop this because of your work. Let me tell you one other thing. Now, if you live in a large metropolitan area and you hear about something called a managed lane, has anybody heard of a managed lane? Do you know what a managed lane is? A toll road. Now, in Houston, all of our high occupancy vehicle lanes that were used for carpools and used to reduce the number of trips on the highway are gonna become toll roads. But of course, nobody wants to say toll road anymore, so it's a managed lane. Well, you know what I call them? Lexus lanes. Luxury lanes. Because in this state, you're gonna have to be rich to drive on one of our highways. Now, that's right, because we're gonna pay twice. When we realized that there was a problem, we tried to move the bill through committee to get rid of. And Lois Colcourt, there's Lois, and Lois Colcourt, and she's filed a similar language this session because we knew it was wrong. And Lois is here. When the eminent domain bill came up on the floor, all of us worked together to try to protect the land of individuals that would be along the corridor. That's right. And you saw bad public policy right out the gate. So thank you very much for coming here today and expressing yourself. And I am with you. People like Robbie Cook are with you, Lois Colcourt. There are others that worked last session to try to repeal it. Now, I did a little sneaky thing last session. When the budget came up, I did an amendment, and it looked like a little old regular old amendment. But then I had an amendment to the amendment. And what the amendment to the amendment did was zero out the Trans-Texas Corridor funding in the budget. So, just know that there's a long way to go in this process. And I want to thank Senator Corona. I want to thank John. We served together when he was in the House along with Lois, for going against the grain, just like Grandma did, for going against the grain to make sure that Texas money is treated properly and that our assets that are here for us in the state of Texas are used appropriately, and that you won't, I'll get it right now, that you won't have to pay to drive on the roads twice. Thank you all very much.
TV shows on organics. He's also interested in environmental issues. He's the originator of the City of Austin's Chemical Cleanup Day and has written articles for Texas Gardener and Organic Gardening Magazine. Because folks, this isn't just a farming and ranching issue. This is about the consumers. This is about anybody who cares about our food, about our environment, about the land. It goes, across the spectrum. So please join me in welcoming the Natural Gardener.
We'll tell him like it is. For sure, I'm pissed off. I've been angry about this for a real long time. And I know you have too. We're all in this together. But I understand there's a little undertow working now. We see that the politicians are coming out and supporting us. That's a good thing. There have been changes inside that building back there. We're making some headway with this. But if we don't stop it, they're going to be on your property real soon. And I don't trust our government to do anything right. What this is all about is protecting the poultry industry, not about the individuals out there. Nobody cares about them. It's all about the poultry industry and getting us out of the way. That's what's going on with all of this. It has nothing to do with home gardening and keeping a couple of chickens in your backyard. It's all about protecting these big corporations like they usually do. This is the way they do things. But we're here to make a change. You know, there's a book out. I hope you all read it. It's a wonderful book, and it'll really piss you off when you read this one, because it's already happening. This isn't going to happen. This is happening in the country right now, and it started in Vermont. There's a lady who wrote this book, Linda Faylis. I hope you pick up this book. If you don't, you're really missing the heart of what's wrong with this whole program right here. This book is about a family, a small family farm with 125 sheep, and the USDA wasn't doing their job with mad cow disease. So they had to go out and publicly do something in order to show that they were on the ball, but they're not, they're negligent. And so they picked on this family right here, and they started spying on them from the mountaintops, and they were hiding in the bushes around their place. Almost a comedy, but it wasn't a comedy. They went to these people's home, and they said they tested some of the sheep, and the sheep had been tested previous to this and didn't have any kind of a disease, nothing at all, not even the common ones. These were perfectly healthy sheep. But they had to do something, and so what they did, they sent samples to the private laboratory, where they came back with this, one of these sheep is sick. And as a result, they went and confiscated 125 sheep, pulling them out of the children's arms, some of their favorite sheep. That's Martha on the front of this book. They milk the sheep twice a day. They treat them like family. These are their pets, and yet they survived by making cheese and selling products from this little small farm. But the feds came in there, the USDA, and they were armed, and they took their sheep, all of them, and they slaughtered them. They took them and slaughtered them. They ruined this small family farm. And you know what? They're coming after you next. You've got to stand up. Even though there's some changes in there, don't let it stop, or they will take over. They'll come after your animals, your poultry. Sooner or later, they'll show up at your place. You know, Thomas Jefferson said something, and I think it's really appropriate today. He says, when the government fears the people, you have liberty. When the people fear the government, you have tyranny. So let's take back Texas.
Thank you. I will definitely take that back to Congressman Ron Paul. I'm sorry that, okay. Thank you. I will take that back to Congressman Paul. He couldn't be with you today. He's a little busy. And I think that most of you know why, but I am thrilled and honored to be with you here on Texas Independence Day to help you draw a line in the sand against big government tyranny. This country was built and conceived with an idea and an attitude. The people of Gonzales were being overtaken by the big Mexican army, as many of us here feel like we are today. And they ran a flag up the flagpole, and there it is right there. That flag told the big government Mexican army that this is our property. You can come and take it, and we are independent, and if you leave us alone, we can take care of ourselves. And if you will leave us alone, and if you will let us live in liberty, we will build a great nation, and we did. And the founders drew up a document, the rule book, the U.S. Constitution, along with the Texas Constitution. It would be very simple for our country to live in liberty and freedom if we would obey the rules. But there are those who live high on the hill of low character. Many of them inhabit this building and the building in Washington, D.C. We are here today to knock on their door because this is our property too. We are here to tell them that we are in control of our property, and because the U.S. Constitution says that it is ours, we will protect it, we will take care of it, and guess what? Just because you've got the propaganda machine running for you saying, we must have a safe food source because we're doing it for the children. Well, last time I heard, we got the fattest kids. When something makes no sense, like animal chipping, or stealing our property, or inoculating our children, or anything else that goes against this document, we can tell them, we know what you're up to. You're holding hands with big corporate America, and the buzzards are circling. When nothing makes sense and they're stealing your rights, you know that somebody is following the money. That they better stand with Ron Paul when it comes to amending the funding out of NACE and out of the North American Union. And you can let them know that if they're going to continue to stomp on your liberties, they will be fired, just as many of them were last November in the '06 elections. But a big step that you can take with getting our liberties back is joining with thousands and thousands of Americans across this nation, from California to New York, and stand up and realize there is one man who is sticking his neck out, just as he always has, to help save this nation, and there is hope for this country. Ron Paul has formed an exploratory committee to run for president. You can log on to ronpaulexplore.com and be a part of it. God bless Texas, God bless America, and God bless y'all for standing up for America. Thank y'all.
There's somebody special here that has been a super friend of ours and this issue. There is nobody that I am more proud of, maybe President Kempany accepted with Representative Coleman, on the House floor who works and speaks with principle and courage than Representative Lois Kolkhorst.
Thank you, Lynn Stahl. Let's hear it for Linda and David Stahl for what they've done for the would have taken the CDA, the Comprehensive Development Agreements, out of it and made it our roads and not their roads. And this session I've gotten a little more aggressive on my filings and just said, we'll take the Trans-Texas Corridor completely out of the code. But I have to tell you that today is March 2nd, Texas Independence Day. I am a native of Washington County. I am fourth generation Washington County. I think it was my great-great-great-uncle fought at the Battle of San Jacinto. And I will tell you that there are many things that threaten our freedoms. And this is just one. I see a lot of signs out there about National Animal ID System. I'm a joint author on bills to stop that. I see that this is not a colony of Mexico. I filed a bill today that would require that Texas history be tested in our tax system. If we're going to have it, you better test us on Texas history and make sure that our teachers are emphasizing those kinds of things. Standing up here with Garnet, you can see that this is not a Republican or a Democrat issue. This is a Texan issue. This is about the United States of America, and this is about Texas. And don't mess with Texas is right. I will tell you that I have met with the Speaker of the House, and he is listening. And I saw Governor Dewhurst last night, and he is listening, and I think y'all are going to be very amazed at some things that are going to come out next week. And furthermore, you know, I have to say that we make mistakes as legislators. I'm human, like everyone else. The best thing that we can do as leaders for state of Texas is say, a little bit like Garnet, this wasn't our idea of what we were voting on in the beginning. And we're going to take our roads back, and we're going to take our state back, and we're going to take our nation back. No North American Union, you got it, baby. And I just have to tell you that it's that generation right there. That's it. It's about them. It's about the people that died at the Alamo. It's about the people that died in 1776 in a very long war back then, that took guts to create the United States of America. We're blessed that the men met at Washington on the Brazos on this day, a very, 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 very cold day, unlike today. And they had the bravery to sign a Declaration of Independence from Mexico to say that in many grievances, we believe in a free and public school system. We believe in individual rights. We believe in a less oppressive, we don't believe in oppressive governments. And let's remember those men and those women that fought for those rights that allow us to stand up with microphones today to gather without the permission of our government and to express our wills and our needs and our vision for our Texas. I love all of y'all. God bless you. God bless America. And of course, always God bless Texas. Thank you.